and that's the person that's getting the bands, bringing the bands up, seeing who's cool, whether it's just local bands or finding out who's routed, and that person has to deal with the owner to get the money for it and get it approved.
Right.
They will generally deal with a booking agent. There's booking agencies around that.
So those are agencies that basically rep the artists, the musicians.
They rep artists and many comedians too. They have a lot of they have comedians as well.
Talent.
Yeah, talent agent. So it's like Paradigm, William Morris, stuff like that. Those are the big ones. So there's a lot of little satellite ones as well. And so yeah, they have to deal with the agent, and then the band generally has a manager if it's a good band. So then what happens is the talent buyer reach out to the booking agent, and then the booking agent he'll send an offer in, and then the booking agent brings that offer to the manager, and then they have to clear it. And that's generally the simplest way of explaining the process.
So basically like Entourage, like the show.
Very much like Entourage, yeah. I mean,
it's got to go through E.
It's got to go through E, exactly. But there's a lot of exactly. But as Entourage told you, there's a lot of problems that can happen.
Right.
Sometimes he's busy with Sloan or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Which was incidentally the name of the main sister from the furniture shop.
Ah, very good. And Ferris Bueller's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, in real life or in the movie?
In the movie.
It's been a while. But so the in-house talent buyer, right, or booker for the venues. So I mean, there's that, but then there's like me where I float around.
Well,
and sometimes
you're a floater. Yeah, there's a lot of that. The talent buyer generally, there's a lot of promoters around town. Let's exclude you from this.
No, I always say I'm not a promoter.
Shadier, yeah.
I'll never be like, I'll
word.
get you this many people in a room. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, I'll come back to that because that's an interesting thing that's going on now. I'll explain what I mean. But promoters will come. They'll say, I have all these bands, this and that. What kind of deal can I get from the door? What percentage of the door can I get? This and that percentage of the bar. They try to work it. It's pretty much mostly the talent buyer's decision.
Right.
Who brings them in, and then they bring it to the owner and say, hey, this guy wants this kind of deal. What kind of deal can we cut? You go back and forth. Different owners are more hands-on than others. Stage is very hands-on. They're all really unique animals. They're like kids, these venues. But what's going on now a lot is a lot of talent buyers, even to touring acts. Like I was talking to Melanie Masterson the other day. She's Spam All Stars, a booking agent. She also does Electric Kiff. And she did Jacob Jeffries and stuff like that. She's really like a Miami legend. Not not trying to make her sound old or dated because she's still doing it. But she says when you're on the road, a lot of times they'll be like, okay, how many people can you bring? We need at least 100 people, and you need to book the local talent as well. So it's like, they're not even from there.
Agent? Or meaning they're saying the venue's saying this to the band,
talent buyer is saying
manager?
to the band's manager.
Right.
The band now. This is on the flip side. This is when the band is trying to get into a club. So you're going from a different direction. But they're making an out of town band book local talent and then promise people, which is, you want me to do your job for you?
Right.
What is that?
Right.
So it's a really interesting trend that's been happening now. It's getting more and more common.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand, like, that happened to me recently. I'm talking to the Improv about doing some stuff, and they're like, well, we want to make sure we're getting at least this many people in the room to make it worth, paying people to this stuff to be there and all that. So, now I'm talking to comics, like, there's, like, Miami comics who have kind of gotten bigger, and now they're, like, in, New York or LA.
Like Forrest is doing well.
Forrest, yeah, exactly, which, like, I've been talking to him, or John Wynn, or, I was talking to Eric Da Silva recently, who's up in Atlanta. But I have to ask them the question if, like, I'm like, are you taking the hit if, like, we don't fill the seats? Am I taking the hit?
Yeah, or what?
Like, what's right? So
a lot of people say I can guarantee, but they don't really know what the fucking word means. Guarantee.
Right.
Guarantee means if this doesn't happen, something else is going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's that part I get, where I'm like, give me an idea, and if you can't, well, don't come ask me for the lion's share of the compensation at the end of the night, because you're not risking as much, and you're not putting as much at stake. Not to say any talent should be paid what they're worth, but if it doesn't work out for everyone involved, then it doesn't make sense. So in LA, so how did you make the transition back to?
Well, I was so from that little shithole. I got poached by a big 7-night-a-week venue.
Okay.
At the time it was called Blind Melons. It was called 710 Beach Club in Pacific Beach. And then they bought Winston's, which is in Ocean Beach. So then I had both of them on my hands. And then I started working there was another company, a production company called One Drop, and I started doing events for them. Did a big show with Fishbone, George Clinton, stuff like that. And learned a lot. And then my mother got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So I moved back here in 2002 on account of that. Okay. So that was my I was kind of, lack of a better word, forced to come back. I was obligated to come back. I'm an only child. Right. So I've been here ever since,
All right, and so I guess so the door closes, window opens, or a silver lining.
Yeah, I had to figure out what was what. I came back here. I started hanging out at Senor Frogs had that Monday night thing going on. I used to hang out there and checking it out, and then I thought it was a big shot, so I did a show at.
Here you're coming off this
I'm a California guy now.
I got poached.
He has enough shit here to sleep with my town. Let me show you what's
You
up.
came with that attitude, I'm bringing.
I
LA
absolutely was cocky,
mentality.
and I just thought I was gonna fucking take over. And I'll admit that now. And
well, you're 10 years later, so you're doing something right.
Well, it wasn't what I had envisioned. Let's put it that way. So remember that venue, the Billboard Live? It was on the beach. It was a huge, beautiful 3-story venue.
Okay.
I did one of the last.
And also, by the way, I'm born in '87, so maybe before my time.
I'm way before. No, okay. So this was like '93. So yeah, you probably were underage to get in.
6, yeah.
Unless they had like a Fraggle Rock fucking concert or something like that. So I did a big show with went to Fishbone and then Carl Denson's Tiny Universe, and they're like, you really this is Miami Beach, right? And I'm like, yeah.
And so what was the vibe? Because South Beach, I'm assuming.
The vibe was I took a bath on that show. I borrowed a bunch of money to put that show on, and.
But I'm saying in South Beach at the time, what were you up against? What was?
I was up against the same thing that I'm up against now. Is very very lackadaisical people that like to go to shit that they know, and you have to convince them that it's cool before they're gonna buy a ticket.
Right.
And you can't just be like, these are awesome bands that, if if I look at it, those are big bands in the West Coast. So I'm thinking I'm bringing these, I'm school in Miami, bringing West Coast bands, but they got their shit that they like here. Right. There's a reason that's a West Coast band.
Different markets, different.
Yeah, I paid way too much. Then I started gripping and I started advertising. I took out a full page ad in the New Times, stuff like that, and it was like quicksand. The more you struggle, and it was a great show, and the people that were there. I mean, I wanted pretty much giving away tickets at the end just to get people in there. And it was a good amount of people. It was a great show.
Right.
I just ran into Jesse Jackson the other day. He was the photographer for the night.
I saw him at Sofar, in pictures on at a Sofar.
Yeah, that was a Sofar event when I was playing. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, to not see this guy playing around town. I mean, and it's because the fucking environment didn't sustain him. I get it, but
yeah. So he was a photographer for that event, and then I just kind of wound up booking. I wound up booking Bougainvilleas. I live right down the street. Yeah. And they really
when? Because I lived right behind.
Shortly after, like mid-late '90s, for about 3 years, the locals hated me because I made a rule: no cover bands. Okay. And there's a lot of cover bands that hung out there all the time, and they didn't like that.
So the local talent didn't like
local talent. Yeah. Yeah, write a song, dude.
Musicians.
So they didn't like me, but at the time I was meeting and getting, there was a lot of really hot musicians coming out of Frost, and it became a real home for a lot of good musicians I met at the time, and a lot of good collaborations started happening over there.
So what was that like? Is there anyone that kind of started seeing and noticing at that time?
Well, I know I want to be getting real good friends with Lil Al, the bass player for the Lee Boys, cool. And people like that. Trying to remember. So Aaron Lebos had a jazz night. I convinced him to call it Jazzilla because it was a lot more exciting than Aaron Lebos.
Well, now is he the one that does? He has the pterodactyl one.
No. No. But he used to bring a little Godzilla to the thing. It was kind of cool. And then the stage opened, and Carlos had me before it opened. He hired me before it opened because I was doing.
You were doing Tobacco Road, right?
No, it was the stage before Tobacco Road.
What?
Yeah, I was at the stage. It was way before, Tobacco Road, because I remember they didn't like that I was doing that, and the stage fell apart for, I don't want to say, I mean, It was what it was. The stage is a really awesome place.
Yeah, dude, I can't tell you how many times I went on these shows. St. Vincent, I fucking saw there with what, like max 200 people. I don't know how many people fit in there, but
Yeah.
so,
I won't take credit for booking her. I booked a lot of nice nationals there.
Well, still, I'm just
And Joanne. No, I know, but a lot of people like I don't do that. And then I went Tobacco Road and Will Call at the same time, and then Railroad Blues, which Jesus Christ, that was fun for a minute, but it turned into a total dumpster fire.
But that play, I feel like there was a curse on that place after Carmel left. It was like,
yeah, well, no, there was a curse on the place. The owner had that whole incident happen with the young girl died fell off his boat and washed up at Matson Hammock. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that was.
Maybe that's why it's
It's
cursed.
a very you know what happened to that place? Miami happened
Right.
to that place. What happened? And then I got picked up at the Wynwood Yard for a while, and that was good. I was able to do my thing there for a while, and then I worked at Las Rosas for a minute, like just a couple months.
Yeah.
And then now I'm just freelancing, and I've been doing the Lebitard events.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because we've had Dave on our other show, like that deals with the visual arts. I think we actually talked about it a little bit on there. But I want to talk about mass. But let's. So one thing I did want to. I'm trying to juggle like the musician side and
Sure.
the booking, like the behind the scenes side. Clear up for me because. I feel like you're very particular about certain things when it comes to music, or maybe just life in general.
Okay.
But, so, I know harmonica, like, you refer to it as a harp. Is that for you interchangeable? Is it two different distinct instruments? Like,
No, the harp is it's just short.
different ways of coming.
Yeah, it's just short. Yeah.
Sounds better than harm or the
Yeah.
harmonica.
Yeah, harp. I say it the whole time. It's just your harp. You know,
Right.
pull out your harp. People call it a lot of things. Mississippi saxophone, mouth organ.
Yeah, mouth organ, I heard, but it's also, Morgan, I guess, for short.
Well, yeah, that's how it's listed on the first Jethro Tull album. There's a harmonica on there, and it's listed as a mouth organ player on the liner notes. Yeah.
And so, what was the first musician you remember? Or what was the first kind of thing that sent you down the road of playing that instrument?
I was in college at UC Santa Cruz when I was 17, and my roommate at the time, he put on Hard Again by Muddy's Waters, and I heard James Cotton just blowing. I'm like, what is that? And I just became obsessed with it. And
were you already in like a music path? Or
no, I played some bass. That's it. Like, I played some bass with my buddy in high school. Like, before college, I was kind of a bass player. Took some lessons, but then I just became obsessed with harmonica. And then some kid at the dorm next to mine, he played pretty good, so he taught me some stuff. I came back to Miami, and I met Fleet, and he showed me some stuff. It was funny. I moved in with my first real girlfriend, and she forbid me from playing in the house because I was just hella annoying. I always had to give her credit, you know. And I'd be like, one day I'm gonna play in front of people, and they're gonna pay me. She's like, never. We used to have these big fights. Yeah, she did not encourage my
So this is pre-Juke.
passion. Very pre-Juke.
Which we haven't talked about yet, but we'll...
Very pre-Juke. Yeah. This is pre moving back to San Diego and all that other.
Oh, okay. This was before. All right.
Yeah. This is like fresh out of college. I'm like, I just came back. I was 18. I was in Miami. Didn't really have any direction, and just started playing harmonica all the time. Couldn't stop. Couldn't keep. I slept with it.
All right. Which they say that's how you got to do it if you want to get good at it.
Yeah, if I was playing the upright bass, it would be hard to sleep with it.
Right. Well, depending, depending on the case.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around a
That's
little
fine.
bit here, but do I want to stay on that? Let's talk about Juke a little. So how'd that get going? Because that's how I don't know if I met you just as a musician in Juke or frontman for Juke, or if I met you more from like the booking and like the back end.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that too. I don't really remember.
There's people at this point where I know I've known you a long time, but I couldn't tell you like,
I know, gun in my head. I can't say it when I first met you.
Because I think it was so blurred that 2009 or 10 till like 12 or 13 window that it was like you're going out. I definitely averaged 3 nights a week at the Bag of Bones.
Yeah, we used to see each other out all the time. We had a lot of the same friends.
Transit,
So,
right.
I was playing harmonica in a band called King Bee, and I was just playing harmonica. I never wanted to sing at all, and then they just started kind of going in a direction. I kind of felt I had something to say, and I was a lit major in college, and I had a lot of words, and I found out. I mean, you can't really make people play your songs if you're just going to play harmonica. That's just
Meaning the band.
Yeah, the band.
Right.
You can't really be a real band leader and just be the harmonica,
right,
because they just won't respect you at all.
Right.
You have to take control. You have to be the MD. You have to be able to sing. And there was some blues jam at the Titanic I was playing with, and the head guy stopped. He left, and so they're like, "You play harmonica now. You're gonna have to sing." So I'm like, "Oh shit!" I was so scared. All these songs I totally knew, I had to write down because I was so nervous. And then I knew a lot of really good singers. And once you get over trying to sing like them, or
right,
trying to sing.
Yeah,
what you think, you just kind of do your thing, then it comes out authentic, and then you're fine. And then so I kind of got a little disgruntled with King Bee, and they started going their own direction, and then I met a dude at Titanic, actually, and he kind of had the same vision, be a guitar player. I put Juke together. It was really...
Evan?
Huh?
Evan?
No, pre-Evan. It was a guy named Eric Broberg.
Okay.
And he was I wound up being, everybody in my band, pretty much, except for Ulysses, the drummer, was...
Ulysses?
Yeah,
Ulysses,
yeah.
like Buffalo Ulysses?
Yeah. He was the drummer. He was my first Juke drummer. And then...
Small world, man.
Right? Small town.
Yeah.
Your little town. Everybody was disgruntled frost musicians that was just like, their face was just crammed with jazz, and they wanted to play something that wasn't fucking jazz, and they wanted to have fun and play some blues, which is kind of like the look down on instrument,
Right.
But it wasn't traditional blues, and to this day, I really maintain, like, we don't play blues clubs. We'll do a couple traditional tunes, especially if it's a long night, but it's not traditional.
So what's the distinction? Because I couldn't tell you, like...
Traditional blues, I mean, there's a lot of songs that Sweet Home Chicago, Got My Mojo Working, things like that. A lot of the traditional songs played a certain kind of a traditional way. And I just really, it's frustrating for me, because as much as I love the genre, I don't see it dying. It's always taking different forms. It's still turned into rock and roll, so it's not really going anywhere.
Right.
But... I'm getting older all the time, as old as I've ever been right now, so it's not fun, but I mean, you see a lot of blues shows, and the people are really old, and it doesn't look fun.
Right.
It's not going anywhere. Those people are dying.
Right.
You're
thinking of blues like it was when the blues first came out,
traditional
and
blues.
how that felt at the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know anything, I've said this frequently, I don't know anything about fucking railroad stations or working in the field or anything like that. Talk about relevant stuff, like...
Right.
Evolve the music a little bit, change up the beats a little bit. Change. You don't have to play just like those guys.
Right.
There's a lot of great harmonica players, harp players, anything. They play just like Little Walter, which is like the guy.
The standard.
And it's great to. My favorite harmonica player is a guy named Jason Ritchie, RICCI. He's great, and I couldn't believe it when I met him. And he started showing me, he gave me some lessons, and. He's so fast and good and out there and progressive, but he loves Little Walter.
Right.
So he's both.
Right.
He's traditional to that, and so yeah, you make it evolve. Like that's like when I really liked when the Black Keys first came out.
Okay.
They were a garage 2-piece.
Right.
They were doing blues stuff. Yeah. That was blues.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they kind of
a little more.
They're pretty corporate now, but I mean it's cool. People like them.
Right.
And it did well.
Yeah, it opened up. That's always the debate is, the good of more people appreciating a certain thing versus too many people knowing and appreciating it leads to people who don't really appreciate it.
Yeah,
genuinely.
And when do they really
want to exploit it?
And then people think they jump the shark and whatever. But I mean, if you keep it, if you just play the music that you like and you keep it to yourself, that's why we get to play like Halloween and festivals like that we get to play. They don't book blues bands, so we've crossed over into that kind of festival scene,
right?
And that's been really helpful. We did a little tour with the Melody Trucks band, Butch Trucks from Umbras. They're really bluesy, but they're kind of like us,
right? And
they shred. They're great, nice people from Jacksonville. They're doing the same thing, and they're playing the festival circuit, and they're making their own music, and it's really cool.
Right.
But they have pedal steel and have a harmonica player and stuff like that too. That doesn't make them a blues band.
It's like traditional instruments being used in progressive ways.
Yeah, exactly. It's rock and roll.
So since I asked you and you so generously came through and brought your harps, why don't you, since it's easier I feel like to hear than to describe the difference, could you just like riff off like a lick of like traditional blues, and then it's like one of your songs. Like
I just got these reed plates.
Is that up?
Yeah, and that's good. You're good. Yeah.
Check this out.
Oh shit!
It's called Black Rock Harmonicas. They're from Sweden. They make custom reed plates.
I mean, I guess they're good craftsmen, but I wouldn't think of the Swedes if I
right?
harmonicas.
Totally. Yeah, these Swedes are good. So there's a lot of traditional harmonica. You know, they used to do like the train. That's train stuff, and then
atmospheric almost.
yeah, and then a lot of that stuff. It's that old stuff, and then then you know all the time, every single time these rolls.
Right.
That's that. But then you can just grab a different key to give another sound. But then
So what? Okay, because I don't know if we say on the Facebook live stream, but so there's how many harps are in this box right now?
oh,
I
I don't know.
4 by.
Well, there's a whole bunch in here too. I got like 20 harps or something like that.
20
in there.
to 25. So I guess I see. So they're in different keys.
They're all in different keys, but then there's some keys that I had the high and the low octave of, and it makes a big difference because so like this I'll show you right now. So there's a low F because it's not as quite. Certain keys are louder than others and higher pitched than others. So here's a F. Okay, so I'm playing basically the same exact thing on a regular F. Yeah, so you know, for whatever song, and then also certain keys my band plays a lot more than others.
Right.
And I blow these fucking things out all the time, so I need backups.
But so do you tune them, or do they? Is it you get a certain one that's in a certain
No,
they're made in a certain key?
They're made in a certain key, and there's people that work on them. They charge a lot of money to make them brighter and better. I used to try to do that all the time. I had
Yep. I'm gonna tell the story of what I just pulled out on the table.
You brought Pinky out. Let's see it.
So I have a harmonica.
Okay.
That I ordered for my almost 2-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And Kime? Is that I don't know. It's made in China.
Okay.
But
Got that
I don't
going
know.
for you.
I just what?
You got that going for you?
Yeah, and it says C, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's in
It's
C.
I can give you a lesson.
Well, there. Look at that. We're gonna have to sell this episode now.
See, for Miami Music, this is my warm up for Miami Music.
Which we'll have to make sure we shout out. But I wanna make this statement. Tell me right or wrong. I feel like.
Can I have this, or is this the one that you're taking home?
No. Okay. So tell me if this statement is way off base or if it kind of makes sense. Playing the harmonica is an instrument that you could, in theory, pick up easily. Like you could pick it up and play it. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily sound like particularly good, but make it sound some way.
Yeah, you can have fun with it.
Very hard to master.
Yes, it's very hard to master. It's hard to teach.
Yeah, because I guess it's like how you can't really like.
Because you can't just put your fingers here.
Right.
Exactly. I was telling my friend Alistair the other day there was an instructional DVD, and the guy has friend was a doctor, so he X-rayed the side of his head, and then when you bend notes, your tongue, your throat is opening, and your tongue is going back, so it would be look like this.
Oh wow, you just see the genre.
Yeah.
I mean, so he was really prepared to get some kind of radiation poisoning or something.
Yeah, he used to pay the price for the love of the music.
Yeah, to be the guy to be able to show people
this is what's
happening.
He's the best in the world anyway. So yeah, he's still alive.
Still good? Nothing. No.
I just think he's fine.
I guess his friend was a doctor.
His friend's a doctor. He fixed him right afterwards. He gave him some cancer pills.
So that's more what everything you played a little bit now. It would fall under more of the traditional.
Yeah, but I mean now people are going a lot. They're playing a lot faster, a lot more flashy. Do a little organ trick. I'll teach you that later.
I'm picking up
It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, actually.
It's all in the breathing.
Yeah. It's all on the tongue. It is.
Hey, so is it fair to say maybe, because what I'm feeling is I feel like it's much more subtle in terms of the musical differences between traditional and contemporary, I guess, call it contemporary blues. Is it more maybe in the subject matter or the lyrics where it's more
or like
clearly...
like what I'm talking about, like when I'm talking about like with Juke and what we do?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, subject matter definitely, attack and attitude. I think.
Like, yeah, because I mean, I've seen a fair amount of your guys' shows. It's not like you're sitting on a stool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I try to get kind of after it, and I like it when I've had a lot of guys in my band, a lot of really good musicians like Rodrigo and Eric from Let Your Kiff are in my band. There's a lot of people all over Miami that have been in my band. I really like the lineup I have now. Like I loved Evan, but Evan was a rock and roll guitar player. He wasn't a blues guy. Sonny, now I have a blues guitar player in my band. But my bass player, Marcel, he plays all the Latin bands around town, but he's a death metal guy. And he's toured a bunch of death metal. That's his style. Right. My drummer's a church drummer. Okay. So everybody's kind of...
That's what I like about Miami, though. I feel like you get a little of this, a little of that.
Exactly. Exactly. So I've always...
That's something that I did want to talk about because it came to my mind like recently, but... like being in a band, how and I guess as like the front man, I don't know how like sensitive like these like terms and like whatever.
That's alright, I'm front man.
Like I don't know if it's official or if it's like big head.
I think I've established by now, Point, I've fired enough musicians to be the front man.
So how many iterations like has Juke gone through at this point? Like how many changings of the guard?
The beginning one with Eric Broberg that we started with, and then there was the Evan, Brian Lang, and Taylor Bird years was really good. Those guys taught me a lot. They're all badasses out of Frost. Brian's like my favorite drummer in town, and he's very musical. He's not just a drummer. He listens. He knows what everybody's doing. He knows when you ever fuck up, and he'll definitely make sure you know it. Right. That was that. And then Evan, unfortunately, we were actually starting to do really, really well, and we were getting ready to we were looking to do a support tour with the Revivalists. Oh. And then Evan had to move, so he had to move to LA for his wife's work, and which is fine. He lives in Dallas now. He's doing well. He's in a band called Try More Mojo now, out of Dallas, and they're touring around a lot. He's got a bunch of young players in his band. He's real happy with them. And then now it's Sonny, Marcel, and Corey, and my drummer. The drummer's a great singer as well, but everybody kind of sings, and it's a real fun lineup right now. I think we're finally just we're releasing a single like pretty much any day. Nice. And on Spotify it's out, but here's a problem. There's 12 fucking Jukes on Spotify.
Yeah, you posted about it.
Yeah, I was trying to change a band name, and I just found out that if you change a band name, you can't keep your songs. Like if
you have to redo it, re-upload.
I would have to re-record them. Not only that, I have to re-record them because they have the same wave pattern and everything. They're licensed and they're a thing. So basically, if I release a Juke song as whatever my new name is, I'm in copyright infringement of myself.
Right.
So I would.
Well, as long as you don't sue yourself.
Well, yeah, right. You, that guy, I'm a lawyer up.
That would make a fun job.
So I'm just gonna have to stick with Juke. Yeah.
Well. You know,
it's a car now.
Maybe,
Jesus, come on.
Maybe now that's just the next step is you have to just become the Juke that people don't.
That Nissan will pay me.
Yeah, that would be a good crossover.
I'll just take a car.
But so the question I had is in terms of that effect on a band and how it can change. The identity, the sound, like.
I'm skipping a very important time. Also, the time that we played with with Rodrigo and Eric Garcia. At that time, to what you're saying, I mean, those guys, musical ninjas, and they, that's right when they're getting Let Your Kiff going. But we used to be a lot jazzier. We used to do a lot of covers of just things, and I like to let everybody. I try not to tell anybody how to play it. Right. There's certain things there's to a point. I'm like, hey, this is bothering me. You gotta play this like this. But the more you let them do what they're gonna do and make the song their own, and then everybody winds up jumping, and then you just have to go through years of playing, and I also had another guy who was my guitar player for a while, Danny Hayoun. Pretty much, it's hard to argue. He's one of the best guitar players in town, but he's crazy fusion guy. He used to be like, "Oh man, I got this new pedal. You know, I'm trying to sound more, you know, for Juke." I'm like, "Dude, just sound do you."
Right.
And so yeah, so as a frontman, you have to decide. I mean, basically the songs that are written are my songs. I have to be comfortable with the way those guys play them, huh?
So you're writing the lyrics of the songs.
Yeah. We do a lot of obscure covers too that nobody knows,
right?
But and we do them our own way. But yeah, all the originals are written by me for sure.
Okay, that's cool. And I mean, I know I guess was your lot one was the I don't know names, but the blue one.
The what?
The blue. It was like Blue Tones, the album. Like
the Down Low Cool. Right.
So that's the one where I remember because I listened to it like. I don't know,
that's
like,
my least favorite. Oh God, I
right?
really, we rushed that.
Timing, man.
We got it recorded, I think, for free.
Okay.
And we were rushing it because we were supposed to play over at the Wani Festival.
Okay.
And we needed products to have, you know. And I don't listen to it ever.
No.
I never listen to that record.
Maybe in a few years you go back and you'll. You know what?
I might.
I
might have to. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just the time when I guess I was seeing you live the most, and like so it was like. I don't know. I just listened to it a lot.
It's really. I really, in general, don't really like listening to the music anyway. So.
Okay.
Is that
just
one?
Put it out there.
It was just recorded very. I just felt it didn't have a lot of energy, and I think live we have a lot of energy. That's why we released on Spotify. They're all on Spotify, by the way. And don't be patient if you're looking for Juke on Spotify.
Well, how can people find you specific? How can they find your Juke on Spotify?
You're just gonna have to put Juke, and then I mean, if you put Down Low Cool, that's the name of one of the records, and then that'll be album, and then by Juke. There's no other Down Low Cools, and you can find it like that.
Maybe that's how.
So that's what I have to tell people. Or Lung Butter was the
and that's a
Lung Butter was the first record. It's still my favorite. And,
Lung Butter?
Lung Butter, yeah.
Oh, Lung Butter.
Lung Butter, yeah.
That makes more sense with that.
Yeah. Smoking a lot and playing, breathing harmonica and stuff like that. So yeah, Lung Butter will come up. So that was called that.
Descriptive.
Yeah.
But so I guess I feel like it worked in your case because you were the one navigating the ship, if you want to put it that way. But I've seen so I had two examples of like where I've seen it work and where I've been like where the changes happen. So one, which I don't know if you brought them down, but Bright Light Social Hour.
Yeah.
When I guess they had a split, whatever, the keyboard player and the bass player that was the lead singer.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah. I don't know, but at one point they switched the keyboard player, and I was
they
not that he was a bad keyboard
they've
player,
changed things around a little bit a few times because when they first came here, they blew up
2 times. Because I think they played at is it Boogies or Bougies?
They played at Boogies when they first came here because there was some sort of festival that was in Miami.
Right. Yeah. So I saw them there.
They're trying to make Miami like a South by Southwest here.
They're always trying.
And it failed horribly.
Every other year, someone has that genius original idea.
I know. I have to listen to these people all the time. I just don't say anything anymore.
Just let them blow themselves out.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then the other one, like the other side of the spectrum. I mean, aside from all this, like you guys, Artificial, who I booked when we did our 7-year anniversary back in December.
Mm-hmm.
Booked them, and then didn't realize until like a few weeks out, maybe a month. I don't even think a month out that Logic, Juan, like wasn't emceeing with them anymore. I'm like, oh, like that's not I wanted. Like, it was that, like, you know how many times I saw them live back, like they were one of my like favorite bands, and they played places that were like close to me, so I would like see them all the time.
I was paying more attention to them musically. Artificial, I was impressed by them like that, and I remember I had them during one Art Basel year. I had them back up Rakim. And so Rakim came down. That was a big deal. And they learned all like 15 of his songs. That was one of the best shows I've ever been to. I didn't know what to expect. You know, I'm not a huge hip hop fan.
Right.
And that was badass. Live hip hop. I mean, I think more hip hop artists should really work on live shows because it was pretty exciting. It was something.
Yeah. No, and that's what I was gonna say is they still played the show and killed it, and I was like, look,
wasn't the same for you. It wasn't the same, was it?
It wasn't. It's not the same, but that doesn't make it bad or worse. Like it's different, but it's still. No, just in the sense of like you have that picture of like, oh, I
Yeah.
want that band that was like such a part of like when Miami started and whatever. So that like sentimental part, but
Sure.
like the keyboard player who I had never seen, like he wasn't always with the band, like is the only keyboard in a year keyboard or pianist in a year of me having this old Farfisa keyboard. I think like I showed you either a picture, but Ramiro Giancarlo like fixed it up for me from my grandparents' house.
Okay.
I've had it at the space sitting on a table for like a year, and I always try. I'm like, oh, like whenever we had music, So Far Sounds or anything, I'm like, oh, like if you want, it's out here. You guys can play. Just because it sounds so fucking badass, and it's like my grandparents brought it over from France, like from the '70s, whatever. And finally, this dude they didn't know that was gonna be there. Like no rehearse, no. And this is like a thing. It has like knobs and like like
he knew all about
like the Doors. I don't know if he knew all about it, but he's like, oh, I'm down. I'm like. Stacked it on top of his, and then like one or two songs like jammed out on it. I was like, all right, this makes up for like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You get
all
a
about
little bit too. You
appreciating the good with the bad.
There'll be happy surprises and not so happy surprises.
Exactly. So it always seems so short, but let's wrap up with just a couple things, and then maybe we get you to like play us out on something.
Okay.
But where can people find you, like website and all that?
Website is jukepostblues.com. We kind of try to coin a new genre because we're not traditional. It's just post blues. And normally, if you just Google
start wearing
Juke Miami Band, most of our socials will come up on that. Our Instagram is Juke Post Blues with the number 1. And then, and Spotify, just be patient. But all the songs are on there.
Or look up Lung Butter.
Or look up Lung Butter, then you can skip over to that particular Juke that put out Lung Butter. We have a new single coming out with this lineup that we record over at Browner Sound studio. Omar Garcia, our relation, was great, and we recorded a song called "We Just Want Your Soul,"
Okay,
which is it's like a tongue-in-cheek spiritual.
Okay.
On a Sunday morning, I was watching some commercial for some church, and they were just like, "Come on down here. We don't want your money. We just want your soul." I'm like, damn, really?
I'd rather give you some money.
Yeah, I'm $5. So.
That's funny. So, and then shows coming up. I know you have one that was
I'm
Stewart.
playing, I do a one-man band called Uncle Scotchy. I play the drums with my feet and guitar and harmonica and sing. And there was a really cool thing tomorrow night at Churchill's. It's like North Mississippi trance music night.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, Rat puts that on. And I'll be playing that with Bruno and a bunch of other people, Lone Wolf and a bunch of other bands.
Wait, shout out Lone Wolf because I met him and I saw him because of you, and dude.
Okay,
awesome
cool.
Performer,
Yeah. He's great. We used to be roommates. There were 2 one-man bands in the same house.
Must have been a situation.
It was noisy. And then we're playing. I'm teaching harmonica for Miami Music Week for Justin and them.
So it's the 21st, I think.
Yeah, it's Miami Music Day. I guess they made it official with the city, and
I
so
did see that, yeah.
Kendall
3 days.
Library, and so we're on Lincoln Road. I guess Honer.
I think nobody's gonna be out there also.
Okay. Honer donated like 50 harmonicas. I don't know what I'm getting
Like
into
for
with
the
this.
kids?
It's gonna be like, I don't know, like 20.
It's probably like these. I know.
Yeah, but I'm worried there's gonna be like 20 kids just going for an hour.
That's as far as I got. Wait, I'm gonna do this just so that then
All right, let me hear.
you'll like erase people's memories of hearing this.
Yeah, let me hear.
I'm not gonna play anything like really like.
Better. That's it.
I mean, it's
make
just
noise.
That's what exactly. It's just making noise, but it's satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. No, you keep it in your car. It's really fun to play
I
in your
had
car.
it in my car actually, and so I was playing it earlier, like on the way here.
It's great. Just
But,
don't pull up next to a cop huffing and
right.
puffing on it. So.
I mean, I guess better this than now they could get you for texting and driving. So
Yeah, but they're gonna think you're smoking weed. So be careful.
just don't have any actual weed if you're gonna
Just-
play.
exactly. There you go. There you go.
Um,
Life lessons.
All right, so well, Eric, thank you for coming.
Thanks, my man.
Why don't you play us off with a little something, something?
Cool. A little something.
Thank you.
You have a clap track button. I guess it's laugh track. It's a canned applause.
Pull a lot that I can. Thanks, man.
No, dude, thank you, man.
Appreciate it.